For now, I'm talking about the development of sensory odor measurement method in Japan, history and perspective of triangular odor bag method. I'm Takaya Higuchi from Yamaguchi University, Japan. Today, I'm talking about typical sensory odor measurement method in Japan, which is a triangular odor bag method. Maybe a lot of people, a lot of audience do not aware about this method. So I will briefly introduce this method from the history and the introduction to Japanese law and details of the procedures. And then I'll talk about the improvement of this method started a few years ago. I'm talking about these topics. First, I'll talk about sensory odor measurement in Japan. Then, I will explain the development of triangular odor bag method. Then, details of triangular odor bag method. And finally, I'll make some comments on the improvement of triangular odor bag method. First, I'll talk about sensory odor measurement in Japan. As you know, there are many odor measurement methods. In terms of sensory odor measurement, odor intensity is one of the main odor characterization parameters, and it is a remarkably common and important sensory indicator of odors. In Japan, we use a 6-point odor intensity scale. The other odor measurement method is such as hedonic tone. Using this scale, we can measure pleasantness or unpleasantness of odor. And the odor concentration is also commonly used all over the world. This measurement is done by diluting the odor. Odor concentration is the dilution ratio when odorless air is diluted by odor-free air until the odor becomes unperceivable. And in Japan, we have odor index. Odor index is the logarithm of odor concentration multiplied by 10. So we can obtain odor index using this equation. Among these sensory odor measurement methods, I will focus on the odor index. In order to obtain odor index or odor concentration, triangular odor bag method is used in Japan. So next, I will introduce the development of triangular odor bag method. In Japan, sensory odor measurement started around 1950s or 1960s. And in 1960s, there is no original sensory odor measurement method in Japan. So odors were measured mainly using syringe method or other imported sensory measurement method. But there are some problems by using this syringe method. First, the odor is so big on the inside of syringe, and the amount of odor supplied from syringe to nose is insufficient. In this period, mainly a syringe with a capacity of 100 milliliters or 200 milliliters were used, so it was insufficient. And the judgment of odor perception was subjective. In consideration of these disadvantages of the syringe method, a new method was developed in Japan. In this method, an odor bag with a capacity of 3 liters were used. This odor bag is used to contain sufficient amount of odor supplied to nose. And the other point is the introduction of triangular method. Triangular method is used to obtain more objective judgment of odor perception. Introducing these new points, the triangular odor bag method was developed. This method was first presented at the annual meeting on air pollution in Japan in 1972. Then, this method was introduced into Tokyo Metropolitan Odor Regulation in 1977. Then, the method was introduced into the Offensive Odor Control Law in 1995. So this method has more than 50 years of history. So now I'll briefly talk about the detail of triangular odor bag method. This figure represents the outline of the triangular odor bag method. In this method, first, odor bags are filled with odor-free air. Then, odor is injected into one odor bag. Then, a panel member will judge if there is odor or there is not odor by sniffing each odor bag. In this judgment, we use 3 odor bags per one sensory panel member. The judgment is repeated 3 times for ambient odor sample, and judgment is done only once for source odor. Then, in case of ambient odor, correct ratio is calculated by using all judgment data, and if the correct ratio is 0.58 or more, then we will proceed to the next dilution step. If the correct ratio is not is less than 0.58, then the test session ends. In case of source odor, if the judgment of a panel member is correct, then we will proceed to the next step. If the judgment of a panel member is incorrect, then the testing procedure will end. So this is the outline, and I will talk about more details of each step. In this method, the panel consists of 6 or more members who have passed the screening test using 5 odorless compounds. Measurements for samples taken in the environment and at odor emission sources are made in 10 and 3-fold dilution descending series respectively. As you can see in this figure, in case of source odor, the odor sample is diluted in 3-fold series. At the first step, the odor is diluted and the concentration becomes 1/3. At the second step, the odor concentration will be 1/10, and so on. In case of ambient odor, the dilution will be made in 10-fold series. And 3 odor bags, as we can see in this picture, 3 odor bags marked with the numbers 1, 2, 3. A panel member are prepared. Then these odor bags are filled with odor-free air passed through the activated carbon column and plugged up with silicon water stoppers. Then odorless air is injected into one of 3 odor bags using a syringe until a given dilution ratio is obtained. And each member of the panel removes the stopper and sniffs 3 odor bags, one after another, by bringing the bag close to one's nose. After sniffing 3 odor bags, each panel member chooses one odor bag that is likely to contain odorless air, and writes down the number of the bag chosen in a form. And the responses given by the panel members are collected and compiled. After this, the procedure is different between ambient odor and source odor. In case of ambient odor, judgment is repeated 3 times for each panel member. Correct ratio is calculated using all judgment results, and if correct ratio is 0.58 or more, all panel members participate in the next session, in which the sample is diluted 10 times further. But if correct ratio is less than 0.58, the test ends, and odor index is calculated. On the other hand, in case of source odor, the panel member who gave a correct response participates in the next session, in which the sample is diluted 3 times further. Then the panel member who gave an incorrect response ends the test series. The test is continued until all the panel members give incorrect responses, and odor index is calculated. These are the details measurement procedures. And I'll talk about the improvement of triangular odor bag method. As I have already talked about, triangular odor bag method has been effective and used for more than 50 years. Because this method is very easy to understand the measurement procedures, and it takes low initial cost, and by using this method, we can obtain a sufficient measurement reliability. And also, we can apply this method to several sources or several purposes. For example, this method is adopted in the odor regulation in Japan, and this method is typically used for several kinds of evaluation, including the evaluation of odor control equipment, odor control techniques. And this method also can be used for the odor monitoring at the emission source or in the environment. And also, this method can be used in several fields of research. However, this method has several points to be improved. For example, as I explained, this method has a difference of measurement procedures between ambient odor and source odor. And especially for ambient odor measurement, much effort will be needed. And nowadays, to keep the number of staff is becoming difficult. And from the point of environmental impact, many one-way plastic material is used in this method, such as odor bags. So this is one point to be improved. So now the discussion to improve the method has been done in Japan Ministry of the Environment since 2020. The Japan Ministry of the Environment made a contract with the Japan Association on Odor Environment, and the special discussing group was formed in the Japan Association on Odor Environment, and I'm a member of the group, and we have been discussing about the improvement of this method from 2020. In the discussion, we pointed out the possibilities of introducing 5-2 method instead of triangular method. In 5-2 method, we prepare 5 odor bags. Among 5 odor bags, 3 odor bags contain odor-free air, and 2 odor bags contain sample air. Then a panel member should choose 2 odor bags among 5 odor bags. This is 5-2 method. By using this method, we can obtain a more reliable measurement results. And we are also discussing the possibility of introducing the method to share a larger odor bag instead of individual odor bag. A larger odor bag with a capacity of 10 liters can be used to be shared by 6 panel members. So we are continuing the discussion this year, and in the near future, we may be able to introduce modified triangular autoback method. Okay, this is the end of my presentation.